Now let's create our own model here. I'm going to name it as my max function, my max. Okay, let me name it as my max, and it takes a list as a parameter. Let me name it as my list. Okay, so just like this, just like how this max takes a list as a parameter, my function also takes a list as a parameter. Let me change this name to my list just for understanding purpose. Okay, so this is my list. This gets passed into my function here. Once you pass the list into the function, first of all you should have max default max value, which is 0. Default maximum value is 0. Now this max value is just a variable name. You can give any name you want to. I'm just naming it as max value, and default value is 0. Now it has to find out among all these numbers which one is the greatest. So for that it has to go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, then to 67, then 154. So it has to iterate list items one by one. Now we have seen this already before this, how do you do that. We can use a for loop with an I by straight away calling list. Instead of using range, I'm straight away calling my list here. In this case, i's value will iterate from 1 to 1, from 1 to 2. So i's value will become 1 first, then 2, then 3, then 67. It will keeps on moving until the list ends. It will keeps on changing. Okay, so now let's say i's value is 1. Okay, now we should check whether this 1 is greater than if I is greater than max value. If this value, which is 1, I is initially 1, if this is greater than max value, then max value becomes I. See, I'm just explaining this. I just explain this again. See, I's value is initially 1. Okay, max value is 0. So it checks whether 1 is greater than 0. Yes, the condition will be true. In that case, if it is true, the max value becomes the value of 1. Now next, now the max value is 1 now. Again it will iterate because for loop keeps continuing until the list ends. So now i's value will be 2 and max value will be 1. Okay, so 2 is greater than 1. Yes, the condition is true, and max value becomes 2 now. So it'll keep on going until the greatest one is found. And what we have to do here is we can say we can return that value here. We can return max value in the end. Okay, it will return the max value. Whatever is in there in the max value, you can return it. And then if you want to use it, we can just control X and then control V, and it is my max, not this is my own my max value, and I'm just passing my list inside this. Okay, let me run this and see you what happens. Yeah, it prints the maximum value. Let's say I change it to this one to 178. It should print 178 now. Yes. Now if you want to see things happening, if you're not sure what's happening here, you may have let's say you may have you may want to print i's value and then max value's value. Print i's value here, and then again max value's value. Okay, we may want to print after comparing, because you should know whether it's properly working. So print I and then your, okay, let me give it a name, I value, and then print max value. Max value is max value. Yeah, sorry, excuse me. Max value. Let me give a space here so that you will be able to see things properly. Max value. So if I do this, it'll print both the values as the iteration goes. So you can see what happens. I'm just running this. Okay, we may want to add a delay. Maybe that's better. We'll add a delay here. I mean, sometime we saw this already. Import time, and we can add time dot sleep function. We'll give 1 second so that we'll be able to see things happening. Okay, so I'm running this. Okay, so initially I value 1. Okay, now see here in the last iteration, I value becomes before that max value becomes 178 because 178 is the largest number among all this. It keeps ascending, but after 178 I value is 98, but since it is not greater than max value stays the same. It stays the same. Finally that got returned. Okay, so only if I is greater than max value becomes the value of I. Otherwise it stays the same. So that's how the function works.